Pretty good. It's the sun's out. It's a blustery fall day, so the weather's finally matching up to the calendar. That's kind of nice to see.
It is. I'm getting tired of the cold already, but it is fall is
I know, man. It's beanie weather, which is nice, especially when you need a haircut. It covers up a lot.
I can't wait to get to the beanie on. And definitely at the ice rink it's been a thing. There's no doubt about it.
It has been,
So
for sure.
has been. You said that right. So we were not. We were pretty busy on Saturday. I thought maybe we'd talk a little bit about your take on the protests and what you thought of the rallies on
It was
Saturday.
great. It was great. It was really uplifting. And, here in St. Louis, the weather was terrible, but
Really bad.
turnout was amazing. It really was. And you saw people from all walks of life. You saw older people, you saw younger people, you saw parents bringing their little kids, people in costume, some great signs. I mean, somebody even brought their dogs.
Yeah,
Uh, Corey Bush was there.
Cori Bush was there. Yep, she spoke a bit on the truck.
So
And
very, very positive, very, very uplifting just to see it, people from all walks of life that were, united in their love for democracy in this country.
when we've been to a couple of them, this was the most that I saw a wider range,
Hmm.
especially the younger people. The support was pretty great. I made the comment there, and I'm not knocking it one way or the other, but uh, a couple of people presented it like hippies and whatever. I smelled very little marijuana. There was a lot more music and creativity with costumes, and a lot of chants just from of support for our rights and for democracy and for the Constitution. And it was pretty spot on. My point is, we didn't drift off anywhere. It wasn't any one group. It wasn't supporting one
Mm-mm.
group over another. It was just a blanket of support, essentially.
It really was. So it was good to see. And I think that, um, people are starting to wake up. I think people that maybe ordinarily wouldn't have come out are seeing how this is affecting them and the direction that we're going. So it was uplifting. There was a lot of unity there. And again, the weather was horrible, man. It was cold. There were, it was a steady downpour, but with, intermittent periods of a really heavy downpour.
Yeah,
And people
absolutely.
did not seem to care.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It said 2,700 events across the country. About anywhere from 5 to 7 million people came out. Trump called this a very small and ineffective uh, gathering. He thought it was a bunch of pro Hamas people that hate democracy, Antifa. I mean, they weren't right on any of these directions that they went. Said it was not representation of the people of our country, which again, everybody was whacked out. And Soros supplied all the signs. Did I miss anything?
It was a hate rally. Don't forget they called it
Oh
a
yeah,
hate
and
rally.
the hate rally. So here's one example that we talked about. You can see the costumes. The inflatables were kind of cool. You got small children here. Dragons have no kings. Release the files. No kings. The Constitution's the law. Defend the Constitution. Hate will not make us great. I mean, I don't see any matching signs. Is I guess my point here.
Yeah.
Trump led us to believe that this is a Soros function. I do want to point out this is Indiana at Indiana State House. They did have good weather, but you again can see a mix of people, young, old, black, white, Latino, fill in the blank. This here, if you can imagine, is at the Missouri State Capitol in Jefferson City.
Oh, nice.
So when they're like, oh, Chicago, sure, Portland, New York, no, this was great turnout in areas that would predominantly be red, essentially.
Oh yeah. Well, we had a friend that went to one out in the county, St. Louis County, which is, generally pretty much more conservative. And he said that there was a really good turnout there, and a lot of support from people driving by, a lot of people honking their horn, waving. So even out in those areas that might be a little bit more less inclined to show up, they showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. In fact, in some of the more conservative areas, the signage was a little bit more direct and words I probably wouldn't use on a sign myself. So I thought it was good to see that they're really into it. Chicago did end up having the march was about 2 miles long. Bozeman, Montana is another example of red. They voted Republican. They voted Democrat twice in a presidential election since 1952. It's a pretty red state, but thousands took to the streets. It was seniors, it was veterans. There were, younger people involved as well. So even in a place where in, 70 years, they voted Democrat twice, they turned out. So it definitely leads you to believe that this is gaining some traction. People are getting a little bit tired of even the government shutdown turns into a joke because we feel like, oh, we'll just blame the Democrats. They hate Americans. They don't want to pay the military, all this nonsense, when we know actually that they're standing up for, essentially healthcare for us, which is going to keep us from bankrupting one another. So this has to continue. There is talk about having a third No Kings. Of course, the Department of Justice is going after Antifa, which is the people that are sponsoring this and paying people. I'm not sure if you got your check yet, but I'm still waiting.
Yeah, still waiting. But, if you're listening to this or watching this and you had a relative, a grandfather, a great-grandparent that served in World War II, they were Antifa.
Yeah, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, that's Antifa, anti-fascist. So if you're not anti-fascist, you're probably pro-fascist, which means you're a Nazi, and ergo and therefore, Trump and MAGA is kind of a Nazi movement because they're all in on fascism. Make no mistake about that. And I think people are waking up to that. In fact, I saw Ted Cruz wants to sponsor a lot of the demonstrations, and protests should be illegal.
Well, that's a real pushback against the First Amendment.
Yeah, it is. And, Ted Cruz is universally unpopular. The only reason he ever gets elected is because of gerrymandering. Even members of his own House of Representatives, which is a batshit crazy institution, think he's batshit crazy. So, and again, this is a guy who is an immigrant, who hates immigrants. This is the guy that when the Texas grid collapsed, got caught trying to sneak off to Cancun. And now he wants to go after one of our most sacred and basic rights, the right to assemble and freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Nothing is more patriotic than peaceful protest. And I say peaceful. And there were, across all 5 boroughs in New York, over 100,000 people were out there. Not one arrest.
The people that were arrested for the most part were MAGA agitators that were threatening people with guns or trying to make a scene. I did see several police groups, one in Nashville, thanking the marchers for their behavior. We saw no issues where we were either. And this ended up being the largest single day protest in history, comparable to the 2017 Women's March in DC. So yeah, it's gaining momentum. There's no doubt.
It is. It needs to. And, I would say just based on our experience, it was a joyous expression, really, of patriotism, of American dissent against what is happening here.
I would agree. You mentioned Antifa and the love of Nazis in this regime. I'm just going to put up this guy. This is Ingracia, Paul Ingracia. He's 30. Currently, he's the White House liaison to the Department of Homeland Security. Trump has nominated him to be special counsel. It's a 5-year term in leading the Department of Justice's special counsel division. This guy was using, he said he's got a Nazi streak to him. And he also was very racist on a group text. And I don't know that his hearing's supposed to be Thursday. Even some Republicans are like, I don't know that this is going to be a good thing. You can see he's already at the White House as it is. And he's a Trump guy. But it's interesting because he would be tasked with protecting whistleblowers, enforcing ethics laws. And part of that is the Hatch Act, which we've seen they've taken a hatchet to the Hatch Act. I mean, they're doing anything possible. I mean, Laura Ingraham is now going into business, and it's basically a hedge fund with Donnie Jr. I mean, you were all over Hunter Biden for so many terrible things and trying to make money and this, that, and the other. And the grift never stops. I mean, it's
Never
just
stops.
insane.
It's the same level of corruption that you saw like in the old Soviet Union, or that you saw like in Nazi Germany, where Hitler and the upper echelons and all their cronies ate well, lived well, while the average German was living under increasingly dire circumstances with food shortages. I mean, shortages of soap, basic supplies. People, couldn't get shoes, they couldn't get clothing. But the people at the top, the inner circle, and their cronies and their friends, they lived just fine.
Well, let me pop this up. Maybe you recognize this fella. Free as a bird. So George Santos was, released for basically being a loyal Trumper.
Trump even admitted it, man. Again, saying the quiet part out loud. Well, yeah, he did some stuff, but he was loyal. He stayed loyal the whole time. He backed Trump. And apparently that's all it takes. And maybe the fact that he looks like an overgrown child appeals to some people, because Donald does like him young, allegedly.
You may be right. So being commuted, he doesn't have to pay any of the restitution. So he was asked about that, because obviously he went on Fox pretty quickly. He said there's a lot of pieces to that. He'll look into it and maybe see about that. The people that he screwed basically felt like it was a gut punch. Nobody really saw this coming. I do think this continues the trend. So Diddy's supposed to be next. Of course, the White House had to come out today and say, oh, we're not going to be doing that this week.
Not this week.
Exact words, Greg. You got that right. So
all in on pedophilia and grift. But I did see something today. I think I saw it on Daily Kos that there's a law in New York that Santos might not be skating away as quickly as he thinks, that he can be recharged again under New York state statutes. So not so fast there, buddy.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, we have to have laws for everyone.
We do. We do. This is just outrageous. And it's so in your face. And I do think that people are, noticing, and people don't care for that.
Yeah, I would agree. To that point, I wanted to talk about this guy. People blast the French quite a bit, but this is Nicolas Sarkozy. I think it was 2007. He ran for president, and he was the president of France.
Mm-hmm.
He just got 5 years for a criminal conspiracy. He tried to obtain election campaign funds from the regime of the late Gaddafi. 2007, it's almost 20 years later, but he's going to jail today. They walked him to the prison. He's the first French leader to be incarcerated since Philippe Pétain, who was the head of the Nazi collaborationist Vichy regime, right after World War II. He goes to jail. So it's like, we got to get back to basics here. I mean,
some countries have a rule of law. I mean, Brazil went after, what's his name? Bolsonaro.
Correct. Well, maybe he can make nice with Trump and avoid it, but he's in jail. He is appealing, but in France, even on appeal, you're in jail. Your appeal's being heard while you're in jail. So 2 visitors a week, and I just think it's rightfully so if you're going to do that. But then he tried to obtain election campaign funds. We do it every day here, nonstop. Trump's building this ballroom based on essentially campaign funds. I mean, he had the LSU baseball team there to celebrate them, and starts talking about the construction. And oh, I love the sound of that. Can you hear that? Just Demolition. This is so amazing, and usually means I'm making money, but in this instance, I'm not making money. I'm paying money, which he's not. I mean, he's not. Nonsense.
And that demolition that's going on is, you're demolishing a part of the people's house. That's not your property. That's not your call. You don't own that.
Horrific. I'm going to.
It is horrific. It's obscene to see that. Oh, stop taking those pictures.
Yeah. So this is the East Wing that's being destroyed. I mean, what foreign government wouldn't want to do this to the White House? It's like, it's just sickening.
One of them did.
Yeah. Very grotesque and
It's
painful to
appalling.
see and appalling. And here's something like I have an old house. I would have to get permits. I would have to go through the historic society just based on my neighborhood and the age of these houses. And instead, he just did it. And I don't understand. And when I see this photo, I mean, it's just mind blowing to me. And it's
It
just,
is.
I feel like it's a gut punch because
Hmm.
I just never would want to see that. I mean, you're adding 90,000 square foot ballroom for yourself, basically. The White House, as we talked about, is 55,000 square feet. What are you doing? And then he's telling a story how the East Wing was where the swimming pool was for JFK, and the story about Jackie going by and saying, "I hear women. Are there women in that pool area?" And the Secret Service, like, where does that come from? What are you even talking about? I mean,
Seriously.
it's mind blowing to me what a weirdo he is about this stuff. What are you bringing Jackie O into this? And what are you talking about Kennedy? You're essentially destroying part of the White House to put up a pet project for yourself. Oh,
Yeah.
everybody wanted it. All the presidents wanted it. No, it's not that kind of place. It's the people's house, not your house.
Yeah. But I really think he thinks it's his and he does not intend on ever leaving.
I think you're right about that part in particular,
Hmm.
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
To that point, he did. They have told the Treasury Department stop taking photos, stop sharing photos. We don't want any of this stuff. Employees were warned. I think that's a nice way of putting it. Any of this demolition, they don't want to see it anymore. And again, I just don't understand how it just started. There wasn't any discussion. There wasn't, hey, maybe don't do this, blah blah blah. No, and again, we talked about, the Major General Robert Ross ordered the burning of both the White House residence and the Capitol during the War of 1812. Now they get this guy in here, and it's done. Here we are. We're destroying the place. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It's shocking. It really is.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why he's on TV all the time. I don't know why he's talking such nonsense. I don't know why people are listening, frankly. It's just getting to be too much.
Yeah, it really is. And I wonder how many people are actually listening now. I think it's pretty evident that that brain is turning to mush. And at this
He
point,
looks
if you
bad.
haven't figured it out, whether it's, you've lost your job or, your healthcare costs have gone up or your grocery bill is rising, your utility bills are rising, it's
Not a
pretty
drink.
evident that, everything that comes out of his mouth about the economy and what a hot country we are, it's pretty evident that that is not quite so.
Well, and he
Um,
said the only prices that are up are beef prices. That's why he wants to start buying them from Argentina now, his new friend. And the ranchers are pissed off. They're like, "What are you doing?" I mean,
mhm.
um, but the prices are crazy. I mean, this is so bad that attendance at the Texas State Fair is down almost 500,000 people, 400,000 people down. The Texas State Fair, $14 for fried Oreos, $15 for a funnel cake chicken sandwich, $25 if you want a turkey leg. Who's going there? And then I got to drive there in my big truck. Not doing it.
That's crazy. That really is. It's nuts. But by all means, keep spouting off about how great everything is. The economy's great. Groceries
Amazing.
are practically free.
Bringing in now $20 trillion we brought in by the end of this. Biden couldn't even bring in $1 trillion in 4 years, but me, 20 trillion.
Yeah, where's that going? Where's the money? Where's our share of that then, Don?
Even if they sent you $1,000 or a $2,000 check, which they never will, it doesn't. The math doesn't math. It's crazy.
No, not even close.
Oh, they're building factories. Show me
Yeah.
something. I don't see anything. I see just lying numbers of nonsense, and that's pretty much where we are.
Yeah. I mean, they rounded up and deported the people that were working on a factory trying to get American workers up to speed. But,
Yeah,
some dolt running for Congress decided to make a phone call and have them all hauled away.
and
Good
the
job
South
getting
Koreans
reelected.
said, and the South Koreans said they're not coming back. They don't need that nonsense.
They're not
Um,
coming back. And
no,
I can't believe people in that district will be thrilled that this person went and did that.
I think she doomed herself for sure.
Let's hope so.
Credit card delinquency is highest level in 14 years. That's 90 days or 3 months of unpaid, even the minimum. People are not doing it. The healthcare increase with the ACA, why it's such a big deal is because people that are healthy aren't going to be able to afford it, and they're going to come off the rolls. They're not going to have health care. They're going to be like, fuck it, I'm not doing this. So we got to tack on 20% more for those that are sick and need health care so that we can continue to make our money.
Well, and we've also gotten rid of the provision that you can't go bankrupt over medical bills. Trump got rid of that.
Pretty
So
quickly.
if you have to, give up your health care and something, unfortunate happens, whether it's an illness, an accident, and you can't pay out of pocket, that goes against you now.
Yeah.
And that is just, it almost just feels like it's an outright war against the average American. It really does. That, and the mask is off. I mean, the people that really thought that, I like Trump, he speaks for the average guy. And I just don't see how you can think that now. I really don't. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Unless you're, either a fellow traveler, a Nazi, a white Christian nationalist, or just a complete moron, you can see that the gloves are off. I mean, that insulting and really stupid video that he posted, the AI video of King Dunn and his F-15 dropping shit all over people, and including Harry Sisson. Like, what's he got against that guy? It's just ridiculous. I mean, this is essentially, and he did nail it. Trump is basically shitting all over the American people collectively.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was spot on. That was for the first time. That was not a lie.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, Americans are skipping vacations. They're not eating out. They're selling their belongings. They're skipping meals to be able to afford housing, healthcare, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit insane. And even grocery prices, as we say. Just in the last year, the average homeowner age is now, buyer of a home is now 56 years old. Last year it was 49, which is still really high. And if you go back to 1981, the age was 31. Granted, 81's a long time ago, but why? Why is the American dream now that you are never going to own a house? And is that a good thing? I mean, we know the hedge funds like to buy up these single family homes, but are we putting everybody into a renting situation? I mean, how's that a positive for us?
It's not, and they don't care. They'll price you right out of your home and onto the street, but then they'll round you up because being homeless now is a crime.
That is so true.
This is a problem. And, this goes back a long ways. This goes back to Reagan, who a lot of people consider Saint Ron, but yeah, that man was no saint. He was, he wasn't a smart man to begin with. So, but he was really just a tool of the right wing.
Yeah.
I don't know that Ronnie Reagan had an original thought in his head. One time he was a good-natured, genial, mid-level actor that people liked, got into politics, got involved with Nancy Reagan.
Yes.
The throat goat, enough said there, whose dad was a big John Bircher and got indoctrinated into hard far-right politics.
And then next thing you know, you're hiding in the bushes taking notes on your opposition.
No, he was doing that before, but yeah.
Nice.
So, but this is where a lot of this shit started. And the roots are really deep. I mean, they go back. These were the same people, the descendants of the same people that hated Roosevelt, that had a plot to have him kidnapped because they were against the New Deal, which again restarted the economy after the Depression, brought about Social Security, workers' rights, Civil Conservation Corps. I mean, all kinds of good things that, that there's programs they're still trying to gut now. So there's been a streak in this country of people that really don't give a fuck about the average American.
Well, and those programs now are called democratic programs. And with the shutdown, they're going to gut all of them. I think today's the 21st. SNAP is supposed to be one of the first ones. These are, and Trump says that the others are a little bit more politically savvy, not to say it out loud, but these are democratic programs, socialist programs that they hate. Universal health care, food stamps, anything to help those in need is a democratic program that's going away forever. We'll never fund it again. It's Trump's thing. It's just.
And I'm not a political strategist, but if I'm a Democrat, I embrace it. I say, yeah, these are democratic programs because these are programs that help people. Yeah. Increasingly more people are going to need that. I mean, SNAP, healthcare, affordable healthcare, affordable housing. Yeah, these are all programs that do help people. So by all means, brand them democratic programs. Absolutely, because they're popular, they're needed. Meals on Wheels, all of these things, veterans benefits. Absolutely. These are things Republicans hate. Yeah, we've got 40 billion to bail out Trump's crony in Argentina.
And maybe more. And
Money
then when
for
he was
that.
asked, and then when he was asked about that on Air Force One, he was very condescending to the person that asked him the question. And then he made comments about that country's dying. You don't understand. You don't know the information that I know. And listen, young lady. I mean,
What a fucking clown.
he's just so unpresidential. It's just ridiculous. And maybe people were okay with that at first, kind of like with W. Bush. They were like, oh, he's a great guy to have a beer with.
I just like the guy.
And maybe so, but this is completely the other way. It's like this guy's just out of his mind about himself. And to your point about the funding and such, we're spending 700% more on deadly weapons for ICE. $70 million just in small arms, artillery, ordnance accessories. Under Biden, it was about $9 million. This is a giant leap from that. Not only are we talking about chemical weapons, rifles, pistols, explosives, and armor, because look, you got to have armor. You can't cosplay without it, right? I mean, gosh, got to be
What do they
looking
need?
tough.
And here's my concern that this isn't all of this is eventually not going to be about cosplay. This is Trump's private army.
Yeah,
that's exactly what this is ramping up to be. And every American who's not on board with this, anyone who doesn't enjoy seeing, men, women, and children, innocent or unarmed people being bullied, threatened, and disappeared, anyone who's not okay with that should be worried, because this is exactly what he's doing. Hitler built himself a private army too, called the SS.
Yeah.
And these were horrible, horrible people. These were the people that American soldiers didn't bother taking prisoner.
Yeah.
They took them out on the spot because these were the people that massacred American prisoners. The SS is, if you look up the history of that organization, it is fucking vile. And this is what Trump wants.
Well, he does like the history of it. Lastly, on that wish list that they were purchasing were guided missile warheads. Which,
yeah, what the fuck do you need that for? First of all, these people they're going out, like I said, they're rounding up innocent people, unarmed people. Why the fuck do you have to have a mask and body armor and an automatic weapon? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Well,
tough guys.
When I saw yesterday, they went into a community to round up, they said a drug dealer. And I saw the video of these two young Hispanic kids running back to their parents. They were like 5 and 7. They escaped. A bunch of kids were rounded up because they weren't letting anybody go. And these kids are like, they didn't get cuffs on me, Mom. And it's like, this kid's 7. He shouldn't even, know what handcuffs are. Like, give me a break. I mean, it's just, but this is the new normal for them. And those kids know, you see it, you run, man, get away.
Yeah.
Or you may never see your family again, type of thing. And they don't care. Kristi Noem's going to spout the same stuff about, hey, if you're here illegal, leave. And if you don't and we catch you, you'll never come back here. I mean, it's just like they're so vindictive, hateful, and just kind of, like you said, they're the party of 3. And between Nazis and Christian nationalists and fascists, I mean, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, seriously, literally, what are we doing here?
I don't know. I don't even know how we got here, frankly.
I don't know, but we were warned, man. We were told that, when this goes back to like the 30s, that when fascism comes to America, it's going to come
draped in a flag,
wrapped in a flag and the cross. And that's what we're seeing.
Awful. It's been awful. What was the statistic you were telling me about the new recruits for ICE? I mean, even with the shutdown, they're throwing money at them for sign-on bonuses and any kind of debt. We can take care of that. And then what's happening?
Well, it looks like approximately a third of them aren't passing their pre-academy physical.
The Hegseth rule.
I think it's like I want to say it's 15 push-ups, 30 sit-ups, and you have to run a mile and a half in 14 minutes. They can't pass it.
Was it a mile and a half or a mile?
It was a mile and a half.
Okay, so
it should be pretty doable if if your goal is to chase down people.
For sure, and we've seen a lot of people that weren't able to chase down people, and they were sent home.
Yeah, so
nobody liked seeing that, apparently.
Yeah, so but it makes sense. It follows suit because we were talking to someone we knew who's currently in the military and fairly high up, who said the same thing, that the people applying to his branch are in horrible shape. The young people are in terrible shape. They can't pass anything.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But believable, right? I mean, so we get all this force going on, and it has only increased the violence and the physicality of these members coming out in the community and trying to round people up behind the mask and the shield, which nobody even knows who the heck they are anyway.
Proud Boys, a lot of them.
Yeah, and while this goes on, we're just gonna keep chipping away at everything else that might matter to you. Some of that is the environment. They're looking at weakening the review of safety of toxic chemicals that are already on the market. So instead of saying, hey, this and that is not good and it could kill you, we're going to go the other route and prohibit states from banning or restricting any of these dangerous chemicals, and could invalidate hundreds of state level protections. And I've said state twice because here's my thing. If I live in a state and we decide this and we pass it, states' rights. I mean, what happened to states' rights? We were all about states' rights. Now, all of a sudden, the federal government's going to come in. PFAS, the plastics that never go away, formaldehyde, asbestos. I mean, Russia's a giant producer of asbestos, so I understand why Trump's all about that. But the bottom line is, it's a killer, and it's not even that silent of a killer.
No.
So now you have serious risk in consumer goods, but also all the workers that are handling it, which they don't care about.
No, they don't care.
But my point being, again, the federal government's now pushing back. States' rights is great when it works for Trump, but when it doesn't, now we're just going to overrule that, and you're going to eat what you eat, and we don't really care.
Yeah.
The science is there. These things are harmful. I don't understand why we can't follow suit and be like, okay, let's find an alternative to this, but we don't.
No, we don't. And, other countries are moving progressively and, trying to protect the environment, trying to, just not antagonize and kill off their population.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether bankrupting them, starving them, or just, rounding them up and disappearing them. But yet here we are. This is just, there's days I wake up and I just can't believe it. I'm like, what the fuck?
I know. Another day ending in why is Trump here?
Yeah, exactly.
So on top of the environment, I just wanted to bring up these guys here. It's the white tail deer, handsome animal. But apparently in Eastern Ohio, which I know you're familiar with, Athens, the University of or Ohio universities there are.
Rockin' OU.
And apparently it's a hunting destination to go out and hunt these white-tailed deer. And there's a gentleman that has 100 acres. He puts an Airbnb and people come this time of year to do their hunting. But the issue is that he goes out on his land and he's finding all these dead deer. I think he found like 14 in 1 mile span. And what they're getting is chronic wasting disease, and it's killing these deers. We know mad cow. This is somewhat similar. These are prions that are these animals are eating. These prions that are in the soil that can be there for up to 5 years. And then these deers come in contact with it, and then they're sharing it with each other through saliva, urine, blood, however it may be. Part of it is with these droughts, they have less water sources. So you're getting overcrowding at these water sources, and these guys are sharing it. Some call it, and the experts don't want to be called the zombie disease, but because they're not coming back from the dead. But it takes about 3 days, and it's painful. You have drooling. You have they're emaciated. They have no fear of people at this point, and the numbers are ridiculous. I want to say last year we had 2,093 cases of this in the country. To date, this year, we're sitting at 8,759, almost 9,000 cases. I mean, it's insane.
That is insane.
So,
holy shit.
The short-sightedness, and we're so distracted by this, is that do we not think it could transfer over to our population type of thing, right? You have all these
Mhm.
hunters. They don't know they have this unless you find them in the shape of some of the photos I showed you of these deers. You don't know it until they would do an autopsy that they even have it. It's neurological. They have to check their brains and see what killed them. Then you
Whoa.
find out you have this. So say you go hunting, you don't know that the deer has it, and you're eating this venison. Also that venison's shipped around the country, coming in contact with other, other meats, other people, other areas, and you're spreading this. So God forbid something like this would jump to humans. But to not even think about it, we have no plan whatsoever. It's just not even on the radar. And when you see these animals, it's like, how could you not want to do something for them to make this go away, and B, worry about the transfer to us?
Yeah, that's just one more thing added to the list of things we're unprepared for and or unconcerned about. The next
Unconcerned is the
pandemic,
great.
not too worried about that. The rise of fascism around the world, yeah, not a big deal.
I know, because we're so focused on watching that blowbag just talk. And I will say this, on Air Force One, he looked like shit. I don't know if he's doing very well, but it was concerning. His color was bad. They're doing the white lips for him now that, I thought Murr was at the beach putting on his nose stuff. Like,
Zinc oxide. How's
exactly.
the hand looking? Does he have the big bruise on the hand?
Well, he complained that those baseball players were squeezing his hand and he's going to need more makeup.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Hey, look, got to watch what you say these days, apparently, but thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. The last part of that, of the with the deer and the chronic wasting disease, is the fact that it is contagious and it's
Highly.
always fatal. Always fatal. You're not skipping by. You are going to die. Generally, with these guys, it's 3 years. It's also not just deer and the white-tailed deer, but it's also moose, elk. We just need to do better. We need to be better for our environment. We were given this land. It's something we're supposed to be caretakers for, because as you always say, the earth is going to be fine. This planet's going to be okay. You're not.
It's going to be better off without us. That's for sure.
Probably.
But yeah, and that's a horrible way to die if you catch that disease. There's no cure for it.
Correct. Yeah, it's just,
I don't know if you remember, but around the time I moved here over 20 years ago, there was an outbreak. And a very popular local bar food was pickled brain.
ooh, geez.
Yeah, people would go into the bar and instead of grabbing a pickled egg, you'd have a brain sandwich or pickled brain, whatever it was. It was a local kind of thing. And that had to stop because there was an outbreak. There were a few cases of that, and it's a horrible way to die.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what we watched that movie with Michael Keaton. Knox Goes Away.
Oh yeah.
That's what he was suffering from.
Oh, I forgot that's what he was suffering from. Wow.
Hmm.
Well, that was pretty impressive. Wow.
Yeah, and really good movie if
I like
if
that
you're a
quite a
Michael
bit.
Keaton fan, it's worth checking out. Knox Goes
Really,
Away.
yeah, really good movie. Without saying more, as you said.
Yeah, if you like The Usual Suspects, you would like that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh guy and all.
Pittsburgh guy, that's right.
Yes. We talked about the commuting of people. I just wanted to add that I listened to a podcast about the prison that Giselle's at, and Elaine Maxwell, rather. And it was from a guy who has done time in several prisons, and nothing major, white collar crime, obviously, but he represents people that are in these prisons. And the talk is that, what we forget, they put her in this place, and the issue really is that the women that are there may have gone through some trauma themselves. Maybe they were sexually violated and trafficked, or they have young kids and wouldn't want to see something like this happen to their kids. I mean, we're really short-sighted in all of this and not really putting it together, which to me is super concerning, because the steps are there for her to be released.
Well, I think that may be a bridge too far. I don't know. We'll see if he does, get her out of this because she is a convicted pedophile. She's a direct link to the Epstein files, which they are moving heaven and earth to fucking prevent. What is in those files? What is so heinous, so damning that they are willing to do all of this? You're willing to go to war with Venezuela.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're killing innocent
Insane.
fishermen, anything and everything to cover up for this and to try and distract. But yeah, I think that might be a bridge too far. She's a convicted pedophile and sex trafficker. That's unacceptable. The fact that she's in a minimum security white collar prison now.
Yeah. Listen,
it's completely unacceptable.
I started reading the memoirs of Virginia, who killed herself, whatever you want to say. But it was horrific. I had to stop the grooming that she went through. And Maxwell was a huge part of that. This is a 16-year-old girl. She doesn't know. You're putting her in with a predator because that's exactly what Epstein was. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, you know, she looked to Maxwell for guidance, and everything she gave her was bad guidance. And then she used her herself. She was victimized by Maxwell physically as well. And I just had to stop. It was too much for me. But
oh my God, that sort of thing, it ruins people for life. I had a landlady who, she had like 10 kids and she was a single mom. So always working, didn't really have a whole lot of time to, you know, pay attention. It was a bad situation, but they had a neighbor, who oddly enough was a hockey player.
Okay.
Fortunately, I did not recognize the name when she told it to me. Thank God. But you know, she had a 10-year-old son who the neighbor took an interest in. And at first she thought it was fine. He wanted to take him fishing, wanted to take him to the movies. After a while, you know, she grew to trust him. And when he said, hey, can he sleep over? Okay, fine. You know, she was a single mom, exhausted and happy that, you know, the dad was out of the picture. So happy that, you know, this son of hers at a very young, impressionable age had someone that was looking out for him and, you know, taking an interest. Well, long story short, of course, you can kind of see where this is going. He was molested. And that guy's life, you know, he's in his 60s now, 50s or 60s. His life was just fucking ruined.
Yeah.
A life of, you know, addiction, drifting in and out of jobs, in and out of, you know, facilities, just.
Sure. How could you trust anybody after that?
It ruins people. These are people that, and they know what they're doing. They groom these young people. They, you know, come across as people that can be trusted, people that, you know, are there for them. And I mean, I don't think there's anything lower than gaining the trust of a young person and then doing that to them.
Awful. I would agree. You're absolutely right. And I don't know what it's going to take with the pushback, but I do see this coming down the pike next. He just doesn't care. Even the people, everything's monitored within the prison. One person just mentioned Maxwell's name. They were shipped off to a high security prison after that. They know to stay away. They know to avoid it. They are getting locked down. They are losing privileges all for this predator. I mean, it's awful.
It's ridiculous. And here's the thing, man. If she was just, you know, Jane Doe, you know, pedophile, sex trafficker, and locked up in a regular prison, her life wouldn't be worth a shit.
Yeah.
Those people do not do well in prison in Gen Pop.
You're absolutely right. A horrible note, and I got to get away from that to a couple of happier stories. Another university said no to Trump. University of Arizona said no thanks. We don't want your stuff. So that was pretty positive. And then there was a gentleman arrested today in Atlanta at the airport. He was going to, with his AK-47, I believe, was going to go and murder a bunch of people. He told his family that. His family, this is 49-year-old Joe Cagle. But as soon as he got to the airport, because his family turned him in, they found him at the airport. He was jerking around at TSA. He seemed a little too curious. And once the family ID'd him, he was arrested. But he had all kinds of ammunition with him, and he had the gun just to like wipe out some people. So if your family's willing to turn you in, they see that you're a bit of a crazy, it's a great start. I see our leader of this country as a crazy, and I'd like to turn him in. Can we do that?
Is there someone we can turn him into?
It would be nice. We're going to find out, though. So that was my happy ending. I don't know if you have anything, Billy.
Well, the World Series is starting. It should be pretty interesting.
The three the $300 million team versus the $280 million team.
Yeah, I kind of like Toronto though. It's been a while since they've been there. I remember their last trip around when they won it on the walk-off home run
Joe
in
Carter.
'93. Joe
Yeah.
Carter, man, that was yeah.
Yeah, I would like to. Well, I hope it's a good series. Otani's unbelievable. We talked about that the other day with his 3 homers, 10 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched of shutout baseball. Phenomenal. But I'm hoping for a good series. That would be a good start.
It would be. And there's one writer, sports writer who based in Pittsburgh, and his take is, I hope the Dodgers win this one. I hope they win the next one because maybe then we can get a salary cap because as we've seen, the small market teams, they can compete when they're well managed and they draft well and develop well, but they can't get to that next level.
Yeah.
I mean, the Brewers win the Central all the time.
And got smoked.
Can't get past the Dodgers, man. I mean, these teams are putting out all-star lineups and they can $300 million payroll.
Well, let's hope for a good series and some change behind the scenes.
Yeah, that would be good. But it is nice. I think it'll be a good series. So
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Billy, I appreciate your time today as always. I hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll catch up
you
later.
too. Nice job.
I appreciate it. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.